Hello everyone, I am Dr. Anu Sharma bringing you once again in Mind IAS. I hope all of you have learned many things from our previous videos, and in continuation with that, once again we are going to cover a new topic from the same chapter, that is life processes, and name of the subtopic is respiration. So today I am going to put some more light on the topic respiration about unicellular organism as well as multicellular organisms. Especially we talk about the respiration in human beings. So let's begin with the topic. Respiration. But before we start with the main topic respiration, let me tell you something which is a very common mistake which is done by most of the students. Sometimes students, they mix the concept of respiration and breathing and they thought that both are the same process. You can say that these both two are interrelated processes, or you can say dependent on each other, but actually not the same process. So before respiration, I just tell you the definition of breathing. What is breathing? Breathing means inhalation of oxygen and exhalation of carbon dioxide. So few students, they get confused between breathing and respiration. And what is respiration? Respiration is different from breathing. Respiration is breakdown of complex food substance to get energy in form of ATP. Okay, so what is the definition of respiration? It is breakdown of complex food substances to get energy in form of ATP and in presence of oxygen. The most important thing, in presence of oxygen. Okay, so in presence of oxygen, we convert the complex food substance to get energy in the form of ATP. So you can say that because in the process of respiration, the most important thing is your oxygen. So you can say that respiration and breathing is related, but it is not the same thing, because breathing is the process through which you are getting the oxygen, and dependent on that oxygen you are doing the process of respiration inside the human body. So what is respiration? Breakdown of complex food substance to get energy in form of ATP in presence of oxygen is called your respiration. Now if you see respiration is of two types. Respiration is of two types. One is your anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. And another one is your aerobic respiration. Another one is your aerobic respiration. So what is the difference between anaerobic or aerobic? Anaerobic respiration takes place in absence of oxygen. In absence of oxygen. And aerobic respiration takes place in presence of oxygen. In presence of oxygen. So the basic difference is presence of oxygen and absence of oxygen. So anaerobic, absence of oxygen, and aerobic is in presence of oxygen. Now we come to the question that in which organism we can see anaerobic respiration and which can perform your aerobic respiration. So anaerobic respiration generally performed by your unicellular organism. Unicellular organisms. And if we talk about aerobic respiration, the best example is your human beings. Okay, so in today's topic we are going to discuss about both the unicellular example. Which organism we take the example of yeast, And for aerobic respiration, we take the example of human beings. So let's begin with the actual process of respiration. See, it's very easy to say because we have already discussed in the chapter nutrition that food is absorbed in small intestine. The absorbed food molecules comes in your blood, and through blood it will reach all across the body, all the body cells, and the body cells use that energy or use that simpler substance to produce energy. But telling this is very easy, but the entire process is very complex. How? Let's see. Suppose I'm first taking the example of human being only. This is the picture of, say, human cell. Okay. And this is a diagram of an animal cell, single cell. Okay. And this is your cytoplasm. So let's take the example of glucose. Simple molecule is your glucose. Okay. And glucose formed due to the breakdown of complex carbohydrate. So this simple glucose molecule is absorbed inside the blood and reach to the cell. Okay, and the cell will utilize this glucose molecule to produce energy. But the question comes, how? The process is not very easy. It is a bit complex and multi-step process. Okay, so suppose there is a glucose molecule in the blood. This glucose molecule will enter your cytoplasm of the cell. Okay, if you see the picture of cell, this is your nucleus and these are your mitochondria. You can say the actual place where the production or formation of ATP will takes place. Okay, so from this glucose, actually the energy will produced inside the mitochondria. So what this glucose will do first, from blood this glucose will reach to the cytoplasm of the cell. If you see glucose, the formula is C6H12 and O6. So it is such a big molecule having C6 carbon. Means in the main backbone there are 6 carbons. So the molecule is bit big. If you compare the size of the molecule in accordance with the cell or cell organelle or things which is present inside the cell. So suppose this C6 molecule enter inside the cytoplasm. Now what I have said and what you have learnt in class 9th also, that mitochondria is the organelle which is called the powerhouse of the cell. Why it is called so? Because it is the place where production of ATP takes place. Okay, so in this case this C6 enter inside the cytoplasm, but you know this C6 molecule is a very big molecule and for this it is difficult to enter inside your mitochondria. Then what this such a C6 big molecule will do? Okay, so by the process of this C6 molecule change into C3. Okay, and the name is your pyruvate. The C6 carbon change into C3 carbon and the name of the compound formed is your pyruvate. Okay, now because in this process when C6 is converting into C3 compound, or you can say glucose is changing into pyruvate. Okay, so this is not a very easy process. I have represented the process just with the help of a arrow, but overall if you see the entire process, it is a 10-step process. It is a 10-step process and the name of the process is your glycolysis. Name of the process is your glycolysis because glucose molecule is breaking. So glyco and lysis means to break. So this is a 10-step process and the name of the process is glycolysis. And the most important thing in this process is that conversion of C6 into C3 inside this cell. This is an anaerobic process. This is an anaerobic process. Means it takes place in absence of oxygen. It takes place in absence of oxygen. Okay. So conversion of C6, C3. What is the right place? That is cytoplasm. How long this process? This is a 10-step process. What is happening in this process? This C6 is converted into C3 compound. The name of the compound is pyruvate. and the entire process is an anaerobic process because this happening in cytoplasm in absence of oxygen. So now maybe a question comes in your mind that if it is happening in absence of oxygen, why we called it as aerobic respiration? Because if you see the definition of aerobic respiration, it takes place in presence of oxygen. So till this point we have not used oxygen, but you don't get afraid of this. I'll just tell you the next process in which we are going to use oxygen for the production of ATP. Okay, now this C6 converts into C3. Now the C3 is a small molecule and it will enter into your mitochondria, and the moment it will enter into the mitochondria, there are two cycles which is going on inside the mitochondria. The first one is your Krebs cycle. We also called it as citric acid cycle. We also called it as citric acid cycle. And second thing is what is happening in the inner matrix of the mitochondria. The next cycle happening, that is your electron transport chain. That is your electron transport chain which occurs in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. So with the help of all these three processes together, the production of ATP will take place. Okay, one molecule of glucose will produce 38 molecules of ATP. So you just see, only one molecule of glucose is producing how much large amount of ATP, that is 38 molecules of ATP. So, and this Krebs cycle and electron transport, it takes place in presence of oxygen. This process happens in presence of oxygen. That's why respiration in human beings is called aerobic respiration, because when we are changing the pyruvate to produce ATP, the entire process will require oxygen and finally the ATP will produce. So the process is known as aerobic respiration. So at second step we are using oxygen and we are giving the name aerobic respiration. Okay, so now I draw a flow diagram to explain this concept more well, or with the help of this flow diagram you can compare also the type of respiration in your human being also and in unicellular organism. See, the initial material is same in everywhere. Okay, that is your glucose. I am first taking the example which we have discussed, that is respiration in humans. So this is a C6 molecule. Inside the cytoplasm, what is happening? It is converting into your C3. Okay, and what is the name? That is pyruvate. Okay, this pyruvate, the conversion of glucose into pyruvate, C6 to C3, is in absence of oxygen. In absence of oxygen, then this pyruvate will enter into your mitochondria and this will produce your ATP. This process takes place in presence of oxygen. In presence of oxygen. So along with ATP, maybe the question comes that what are the byproducts of respiration in human beings? So ATP is not only the byproduct in respiration of human beings. Along with ATP, what will produce? Water molecule will produce along with your carbon dioxides. So this is the final product. This is the final product of respiration which takes place in human being. Glucose, C6, comes in cytoplasm, changes to C3. In absence of oxygen, it will become pyruvate. It enters in mitochondria. Then in presence of oxygen, it forms ATP, water molecule and carbon dioxide. I hope this entire thing along with the picture clear to you. Now, we can see aerobic respiration in yeast. So, glucose, the initial molecule is same. Okay, What example we are taking? Yeast, which is a unicellular organism, or you can say a prokaryotic organism. So the initial substance is same, that is glucose, and this glucose is once again changing into pyruvate, that is C3, that is also similar. But as you know that in prokaryotic cell, the cell is there and nucleoid is there and they lack cell organelles. So they don't have mitochondria to produce ATP. So in the cytoplasm only this, from this pyruvate, because this is an anaerobic process, this pyruvate will produce 2 molecules of ATP plus carbon dioxide plus ethyl alcohol. Okay, so you just see the difference. You can compare the difference with the help of this flow chart. In yeast, 1 molecule of glucose is producing 2 molecules of ATP. But in human beings, 1 molecule of glucose is producing 38 molecules of ATP. What are the other product in human being? Water and carbon dioxide, and in yeast along with the carbon dioxide, ethyl alcohol is also there. This process is also known as fermentation. This process is also known as fermentation. Okay, so if you compare both the things, what you find that in yeast only 2 molecules of ATP is producing, I think, which is sufficient to fulfill the need of a single cell organism. Because they are single cells, that's why they don't require much of energy to perform various functions. But if you compare or if you see multicellular organism, the body is huge and they do lot many things entire day, and they require lot amount of energy as compared to your single cells. So for them 38 molecules of ATP is producing. Okay, so this is the example of a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell. So with the help of this flow diagram, you can differentiate, you can compare that how the things are changing, where oxygen is present, where oxygen is absent. Now a very interesting thing, like in human beings, the respiration takes place in presence of oxygen. If I'll ask you that it may possible that in human beings respiration can occur in absence of oxygen also, what will be your answer? The right answer for this question is yes. But no, that yes or anaerobic respiration in human being is not a common phenomena. The general phenomena is aerobic respiration in which you are using oxygen. Okay, but when you are going for anaerobic respiration, see, glucose in the form of glycogen, it is stored inside the body of muscles. In human body, inside the muscles. Okay, so muscles stored glucose in the form of glucagon. Glucose come to liver change that excess glucose into glycogen and it stores inside the muscles. Okay, and generally we go for aerobic respiration, but during the time of heavy exercise, during the time of running, or you are doing in which you are putting lots of your effort, at that point of time, what will happen? You require more energy, your body require more energy, and normal breathing process will not produce so much of energy inside your body. So what your body will do? Then how your body will get that energy and fulfill their need of energy? So what they will do? They will derive energy from the glucose which is stored in muscles in the form of glycogen. Okay, and by using that glucose in the muscles, what will produce? ATP will produce along with lactic acid. Okay, and this process takes place in absence of oxygen. In absence of oxygen. Okay, sometime a question may come in your exam that in human being, after such a rigorous exercise, or if you run very fast for some time, there is a muscle cramp in your leg. So what is the reason for that muscle cramp? The reason for that muscle cramp is your accumulation of lactic acid inside your muscle, because that is the not a normal or natural process of respiration in human being. But you are doing too much of exercise, too much of work, so in that case the muscle energy you are using, but the disadvantage of using this energy is production of lactic acid along with your ATP. So this lactic acid accumulate inside your muscles and responsible for your muscle cramps. So with the help of this picture, you can compare aerobic and anaerobic respiration in human beings as well as in prokaryotic cell. So this is all about your topic respiration. What are the different types of respiration, how it takes place in human beings and in unicellular organism. I hope you enjoyed today's video and learned many new concepts with the help of this video. We hope that we'll see you soon, and if you like the video, please do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you everyone.